So a few months ago, there was talk on whether or not Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis would debate. Now, as most of you know, they're the governors of California and Florida, respectively. And now it's confirmed that they're going to debate on November 30th. This right here, according to NBC, also many other news sources confirm this. California Governor Gavin Newsom and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will take part in a televised 90-minute debate moderated by Fox News' Sean Hannity on November 30th, the network announced Monday. The debate will air on Hannity's namesake show from Georgia, though a specific location in the key battleground states remains to be determined, Fox News said in a news release. So, now, look, I'm for this, and I'm really, really hopeful that Gavin could essentially wipe the floor with Ron, because, and some of these things I can give you right off the top of my head, others that I'm going to have to look on the other page to see right quick. I don't understand why, and I know I'm a Democrat, and I know he's a Democrat, and I know I support him and everything, but why do a number of non-Democrats not like this guy? Now, I understand the far right not liking him at all, because, of course, they're not going to like anything that's even remotely close to Democrat. They don't even like people like the non-MAGA Republicans like Mitt Romney and Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and people like that. They think they're communists. They think they're socialists. I can tell you right off the top of my head things that Gavin Newsom has done for his state, that his approval rating skyrocketed to 64% as a result of doing these policies. Before he did these policies, his average approval rating was like 56 to 58%. Okay, let me tell you this. So after we got the $1,200 stimulus checks, and then we got $600 stimulus checks, and then we had $1,400 checks, what Gavin did was he gave his citizens an additional $600 on top of the federal money that they got, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think that came after the $600 check. So that was late 2020 or early 21. I don't know if that was right before or right after Biden got elected. It was one of the two. So he did that. And then some months down the line, he gave his citizens an additional $1,000 stimulus check. However, if I remember correctly, I don't know if that went to every single citizen. I think that mostly went to like some of like the elderly and like parts of the working middle class, and then like some people who are in, you know, that poverty section. So anybody, I don't know if it necessarily went to somebody who's making over $100,000 a year or something like that. I mean, if it did, cool. So that was a good one. He also gave $22 an hour to fast food and restaurant workers. They had been pushing for him to give $15 an hour. He went $7 above that. That was a huge win. What else did he do? He also he gave a free program to give 3 meals a day to the elderly in the senior homes during the height of COVID. I don't know if that's still going on, but the fact that that was going on at that time, that's pretty amazing and pretty heartwarming, if you ask me. He also provided proper protection equipment for kids in schools. Good move. California has a Medicare plan, which out there they call it Medi-Cal. I know some people, you might think it sounds silly name, whatever. In Massachusetts, they had a healthcare plan called Mass Health that was under Mitt Romney. So he lowered the Medi-Cal age. I think the age was like 60 to 62. He lowered it down to 50. They had been pushing for him to lower it down to 55. He went even below that. So he's surpassed the expectations, and we're trying to get Democrats to do that on the federal level. So he did that. What else did he do? More and more homeless people are getting off the street as a result of him. Let's see what else he did here as governor. Newsom has spoken in favor of Assembly Bill 1196, which would ban chokeholds in California. He has claimed that there is no longer a place for a policing tactic that literally is designed to stop people's blood from flowing into their brain, that has no place any longer in 21st century practices. In September of 2021, the governor signed legislation raising the minimum age to become a police officer from 18 to 21. Also in the bills were restrictions on the use of tear gas and a ban on police departments employing officers after misconduct or crimes. Among the bills was the George Floyd bill, requiring requiring officers to intervene when witnessing excessive force on the part of another officer. Now, conservatives should be pretty okay with that, but they're still going to find a way to trash it just because he's a Democrat. Listen, when you stop an action that kills somebody, you're saving a life, which is called pro-life. Do you understand me? Pro-life. Okay? Which conservatives claim to be pro-life. Saving lives. Getting these abusive cops off the street. Again, so he's done all those things right there. He also has a good record when he was a mayor of San Francisco, which I can get to in another video. So my thing is, how can people like Ron DeSantis argue against that? What is he going to say? In what way is he going to say? Matter of fact, I'm not even just putting this on DeSantis. Let's just say, even if it was another Republican, he could debate against Chris Christie. He could debate against Mitt Romney or Mitch McConnell or Lindsey Graham or Trump, or they can pull some old school Republican like Dick Cheney or somebody, Newt Gingrich. Who's going to look at those things and say, yeah, these are bad, and this is why California is suffering because of you? Well, you know what? Plenty of Republicans have tried to make the argument to say that California is suffering as a result of his policies, but a vast majority of the state still supports him. The vast majority of the state was supporting him when his approval rating was at 55%, 54%. He did those policies, and his numbers went up to 64%, which means even more people liked him, and even more people supported him. And his numbers were okay even amongst Republicans. Even some Republican voters out there were like, well, I can't argue with this. I mean, I guess he's all right. I mean, you know, he's a Democrat. We think he might be a communist, but I mean, he did some good stuff. I mean, let's roll the dice and just whatever. Because guess what? Remember, in 2021, during the recall election, Larry Elder tried to make the point to say California citizens don't like Gavin Newsom, and that's why they're upset with him, and they won't vote for him again. And then what do we see? We cut to all these videos and articles where California citizens are responding to Larry Elder by saying, no, actually, we do like him. And actually, we like his policies. And actually, his policies have benefited us. And that's why we're going to vote for him again. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. Larry Elder tried to run that same trick. And of course, being endorsed by Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump, yeah, that helped so much. It helped you so much that Gavin Newsom still got over 7.9 million votes in that election, and Larry Elder got 3.5 million votes, which is about 3.4 million more than I thought he would get. So, and then what's Ron DeSantis doing? He's picking fights with Disney, and he's talking about banning books and talking about all this culture war stuff, and people. I mean, I'm curious to know what they're going to debate about. Are they going to debate about Biden versus Trump? Are they going to debate on healthcare? Are they going to debate education? Are they going to debate stimulus checks, wages? Are they going to debate, I mean, I would say foreign policy, but they're both governors. And governors, for the most part, have nothing to do with foreign policy, especially when it's military-based. Now, I think on some stuff they might have some relations economically, but that's a little bit of a different story for a different time. And I'd have to delve a little more into that one anyway to talk more about that. But I'm curious to know what this debate is going to be about. Nobody's given any details yet, but I know one thing. Gavin Newsom, here's my message to you, Governor Newsom. If this man attacks you and says that you've done nothing for your state is suffering, just remind him of the good policies you've done. Hey, $1,600 stimulus checks, $22 an hour fast food and restaurant workers, 3 meals a day to the elderly during COVID, proper protection equipment for kids in schools, lower the Medicare age to 50, banning chokeholds, saving lives, getting homeless people off the street, doing affordable housing. I think that this is a potential, I would say, this is putting him out there more and more. And I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for Biden-Harris 2024, I would definitely be promoting this guy for this year. If Biden and Harris decided to not run again, this guy would be the first guy I would prop up. Him and, close to second, my Governor Whitmer. I think if those two team up, that'd be like the best ticket in a long time. And I think that if Biden and Harris are for sure doing it in 2024, which I'm already on that bandwagon, but regardless of who wins 2024, I think that this helps prepare Gavin to run for 2028. And the minute that that becomes a national discussion, I'm on board. I'm on board. So I can't wait to see the debate between Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis. It's going to take place on a Thursday. I'll be at work, so I'm not going to see it live, but I'll watch it later that night or maybe that weekend or whatever. But just wait for it because I'm waiting for it.